for NASA and CORD. 3 of us were members of CORD, Wiper, Ford Kenya and ODM. We still have unresolved issues about political parties funding. We are headed to arbitration. Within NASA, again, we have issues within the coalition, largely around the issue of funding again, and of course issues of dishonesty on the part of some of our partners. Again, the procedure of handling issues within the 2 coalitions was clearly spelled out in our instruments of formation, and we have already, as a party, identified our possible arbitrator as senior retired judge. Wiper have told me that they have also fingered on a retired judge as part of their team. We hope that ODM and ANC will also soon do that, so that we have a less noisy and messy process of dealing with our post-election difficulties that we find ourselves in. It was a day of shame 2 weeks ago when the Senate of the Republic voted to open the debt ceiling for the country. You know that 7 senators, including yours truly, resisted this. But even as we did that, the issue was not whether to borrow or not to borrow, but how to manage what we borrow, and how to regulate and measure what to borrow. Many of us said, even if the government was to borrow extra money today, Parliament should have opened up the ceiling to say 7.5, because when you look at the statistics being channeled out at the time, we were told the budget deficit was 650 billion. So what is the point of giving then the government a carte blanche of 3 trillion when the same government has shown over and over that their appetite for loans is totally uncontrollable? So I still believe that what the National Assembly and the Senate did was wrong, was unpatriotic, is harmful to the country, is harmful to the economy, and endangers the future comfort of each and every citizen of this country, because a country that lives heavily in debt runs the risk of going the way Argentina went, the way Greece went, and the way many other countries that have borrowed recklessly have gone. And that is not what we want Kenya to be. But more importantly, the borrowing that is being expanded is supposed to be to create and manage new development projects around the country. The Minister for Finance indicated to the Senate that the projects they want to carry out are dotted across the country. And I can tell you without any fear of contradiction that there's no single project in the western region of Kenya, in the counties of West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Kakamega, Busia, Vihiga, Siaya. We, as Ford Kenya Party, presented our views to BBI. I have told you before that we urged the country to go back to a parliamentary system. We urged the country to have ministers appointed from Parliament. We urged the country to embrace inclusivity so that Kenyans can feel a sense of ownership and belonging to their government. We're hoping that our views, which we presented as a party in Nairobi, which views I presented here in Bungoma when they visited, and which views I led the delegation of the Senate to BBI to give, will be taken into account. We supported BBI, that's why we went to give our views those many times. We still support BBI because we believe that it is a process of healing, rejuvenating, and re-energizing our trajectory to the future as a country. So I'm hoping that the fidelity to each and everything that we gave and many other people too will be part of the BBI report. We have been waiting for the report for the last 3-4 weeks since they said it was ready. I want to urge the President and his partner in the BBI, Raila Odinga, to release the report so that, one, you reduce the level of anxiety in the country, you reduce the unnecessary and unhelpful speculation. People are now imagining, and the imaginations have become very fertile, on the content of a document they have not seen. We are seeing all manner of things being said. We as Ford Kenya Party, and I as an individual leading the party, have said that it is very difficult and in fact dishonest to oppose what you haven't seen or to purport to support what you haven't seen. You can only support the views you gave, like we do support all the views we gave, because those were considered views. And we are hoping that the outcome of the process is going now to inform Kenyans and generate a new level of public participation and awareness and thinking to arrive at a win-win for this country. I was quite happy to hear the President announce in Sagana when he met his Mount Kenya team that he supports the creation of the position of Prime Minister. This is what we supported. And that's what our parliamentary system is all about. That the government is residing in Parliament and answering questions about government prompt and in situ. This is how better management of the state can be done. And we join him in this level of thinking and hope that much sooner than later we will move forward. But more important about BBI, I said this on the floor of the Senate, that the intention of creating BBI was to unite Kenya and Kenyans. I hope the outcome is not going to divide Kenyans even more. And the President, more than anybody else, has a patriotic, legal and moral duty to Kenyans to call all leaders in the country who can sit with him, his deputy, we in the opposition, those who are in the opposition and have jumped on his side as part of government, you know them, I don't need to mention them, to sit down and have a consensual approach to healing the country. So that when we go to referendum, if we do, we shall only go to referendum because the Constitution demands that to change certain issues in the Constitution must go to referendum. But with a consensual question, with everybody thinking and agreeing that this is good for the country. But if we are going to a referendum that is going to throw the spanner in the works and leave Kenyans divided even more, then the process is not helpful and it will not achieve what the President and Raila Odinga embarked on doing, uniting and healing the country. Each one of us has a stake in the peace, security, tranquility and development of our country. Nobody has a better stake in Kenya than the other. So let nobody ever think that BBI is about himself and somebody else. BBI is about all of us, you journalists included, saying these are the projects. All the projects are in certain favored regions. So, and we also taxpayers in this region, people of this region work so hard, they feed the nation, they pay taxes, they also deserve to get projects. We have said over and over, and I want to repeat, that we want the old rail line from Mombasa through Naivasha, Nakuru, Eldoret, Tarbo, Bungoma, Mianga, Malaba, rehabilitated and connected to Uganda. After all, we have been told that Uganda is rehabilitating the old railway to a standard where it can be economically viable and productive to run the economy. It will end up in Malaba, and we need an offtake from Malaba to Mombasa. So we want to see money put on these projects so that the railway line can be revived, and all towns along the railway line will benefit from increased traffic and business.